Hello again, thank you for joining me for another video. So today's topic is spiritual archetypes. And it's kind of a super big, heady, you're going to have to take what I say and then go and unravel some of it. Because I'm just going to give you the bits and pieces and then you'll have to use your own method of deducing to get the rest of the information. Because it's too much. I'm not one of those let's sit here for an hour and detail the tiniest, minuscule aspects of the things that you should know on your spiritual path, because that is part of the fun of the path, in my opinion, is figuring this stuff out. So, but this was one that has helped me out a lot, and I haven't known how to explain it, and I just got it this week, like, oh, those are the words that I can use to convey this to other people. And so spiritual archetypes. In the course of my spiritual awakening, I have had the experience of I-aming things. I-aming spiritual archetypes. And what I mean by that is, like, I commune with the idea of a archetype until I get its essence. And so all of them. But let me tell you why it's important first. Because when you're condensed down in your very egotistical mode, your egotistical mode is your emotional mode. That is what is meant by egotistical. It isn't the local. You got to get out of the idea of you're still going to have a local self, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's that egotistical when you are being driven by emotions, because emotions are easy to manipulate. All right, so you want to get out of the emotion mind, that other people's little strings and hooks and pokes and all of that, which takes time. It isn't like, oh, I don't want to have an ego, and then tomorrow you're not going to have an ego. It's, going to therapy if you need to go to therapy. It's having a group of, meditators that or yoga people or whatever. It's your church or whatever it is that gets you out of your emotion blocks, limits, all of that stuff that's attached to your beliefs about yourself, the beliefs about reality, and it's encoded via emotions. And there's something to understand about the way that our brain functions, the logic mind and the abstract mind. The abstract mind tends to go a little faster, and the way that it goes faster is by these memory encoded emotions and biases that are all kind of attached in that area. So part of the spiritual work is undoing that. And one of the tricks that I found to be really helpful is replacing those emotions that are very personal to this physical life and this physical body, and the traumas that it's experienced, to go outside of that box into an expanded abstract state while having some structure. So I am not the kind of person that likes the, hey, you're nothing and this is all an illusion. I can't tolerate that frame of reference because of the trauma. So for me to go from trauma to nothing is not enough of a bridge. It leaves me in this void of pain. So I need structure, and there's plenty of structure. We have plenty of other things besides you are nothing to pull from and to create that abstract shortcut. The character arcs that we are all well aware of that exist in spiritual text and lore and myths and legends, and even beyond that, even current. You can see these things playing out current, for example. So what's a spiritual archetype? Some of the archetypes that we have are Jesus, prophets, Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, Aphrodite, Lakshmi, all of the Irish goddesses, Bridget, etc., Kali. And all of these archetypes, if you stop and think about it, have dealt with an emotional battle of some kind. And so you can get out of your own mind and you can look at the archetypal, the character arc of these spiritual archetypes, right? What's the character arc of Michael? What's the character arc of Jesus, the hero's quest? What's the character arc of God the Father, Old Testament, God the Father, New Testament? What's the character arc of, people who get into galactic stuff and, alien stuff? Like, pick your entity, right? And there's a character arc there. There's a shadow aspect and there's a light aspect. And when you understand both, you can actually start coding the world a little bit faster. You can code reality a little faster, as opposed to just being kind of stuck in this, the storyline of the individual self. You can become part of a energy outside and narratives outside of this linear construct. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. For me, it was like, I took it along the way as like getting Girl Scout badges. So when I would comprehend an aspect of, one of those character arcs and what it embodies, the message it embodies, and then it's another way for reality to communicate with you. So they were like catching these little, like Girl Scout badges, a new language that you can utilize to grasp the forces of nature and the subtle realms that are occurring around you. That's bigger than just the astral, which is mostly like thought projections and disembodied spiritual information. You can get beyond that when you start looking at character arcs of the spiritual hierarchy as something that you are capable of utilizing in the same way that, if you're in a video game, you don't want to go back to the beginning and have to recapture all of the clues along the way. Like, so if you're playing a video game for the second, third, fourth time and you got to level 10, you can just rush through the beginning part and get to level 10, and then you have to work at it a little bit. So the spiritual archetypes, that work has already been done for you. So if you just comprehend what it's saying in the spiritual process, you don't have to start from the very beginning. All right, the judge, the fool. It's in the tarot too. Like, these themes are repeated, and there's ways to utilize them when you come up against challenges to be a fully embodied sovereign being, is to have some mastery over all of the tomfoolery that'll come your way energetically, so you can hold your space a little bit more fiercely. So hopefully that was a little bit of help. There's something to be said about communing with these archetypes, right? Communing with them, because there's information there, and if you can't hold yourself in as an equal with them, understanding, like, you get in the mind space, how do we want people to treat us? We want them to understand us, and then we can communicate. If we're using two different languages and two different worldviews, and I'm not willing to bend and you're not willing to bend, you walk a mile in someone else's shoes. So the same is true of these spiritual archetypes. So, I would try to walk a mile in their shoe, and I would do this also for collectives of people. Like, what was it like for them, and just really kind of engross yourself in the story, that as much as you know, the emotions of it, and the feedback of it. And it clarifies a lot of things and pulls you out of the small context, and and enters you into a larger context and a larger story, and really allows you to, I don't know, get a little bit more say in not just be subjected to the push and pull of the forces that are acting out on earth. It's a way to like up your spiritual armor, in a manner of speaking. Tools, toolbox, skill set, all of that stuff. So hope that finds you well. Please feel free to leave any comments below. Take care.